getting answers for Western Massachusetts. This is Western Mass News.
After weeks of evacuation, America's longest war coming to a close, but some did not make it out. We have all the details breaking out of Afghanistan tonight coming up.
And there is a chance for a few thunderstorms that could be strong to severe this evening, and we're tracking rain from Ida. I'll have the latest in my first morning forecast.
I know what they're going through down there.
Plus, local business owner with ties to Louisiana weighs in on the devastation after a Category 4 hurricane makes landfall.
We begin tonight with that breaking news out of Afghanistan. After 20 long years, the last American troops have left Kabul. Thanks for joining us, everyone, on this Monday at 6. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Jordan Jaglinzer. The head of the evacuation and war effort, General Frank McKenzie, says the last planes took off at 3:29 Eastern Time this afternoon, or in Afghanistan's time zone 1 minute before midnight. According to General McKenzie, over 6,000 U.S. civilians were evacuated, but there are some alongside eligible Afghans who were not on the final flights. The general says the Department of State is going to work to get the rest out, a number that he has quantified as, quote, a very low 100s. Meantime, the Taliban is now proclaiming Afghanistan fully independent from U.S. influence.
We do have a first warning weather alert for the potential to see a strong to severe thunderstorm. So far, a lot of the showers that we've seen out there during the afternoon haven't really developed into much. There was one stronger storm in eastern Franklin County that's kind of on its way out now. It's not producing a ton of cloud to ground lightning, but most of it is now in Worcester County. There are a few isolated downpours across the area. We're seeing a few more come into Berkshire County at this hour, but we're not really seeing any thunderstorms. Now, there's still a risk, though it is low, that we could see a few storms that produce some damaging wind gusts, and anything that comes through is going to produce some heavy rainfall. Now, looking at our future cast, most of this will start to exit Hampden County after about 8 p.m. And then going toward 10, 11 o'clock, we might still have a shower around, but for the most part, we should be finished with any wet weather. Skies will turn partly cloudy overnight with some areas of fog. Right now, it's still quite warm in Springfield. We're at 86 degrees with the dew point up around 70. So a very hot, humid air mass is out ahead of an approaching cold front, which is helping to produce some of those thunderstorms. Once we get behind the front, things will start to, kind of get a little bit more comfortable for the mid part of our week. Right now, a lot of 70s throughout the area with a few lower 80s in Hampden County that still hasn't really seen much rain yet. And dew points are still sky high, and those won't begin to drop until that cold front comes through. But we should have some lower humidity by the time you head out the door in the morning. For the early morning bus stop forecast, we should be in the lower 60s, some patchy fog around. Then in the afternoon, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Temperatures not quite as warm as today, but still ending up in the lower 80s. It will be a dry weather day for us, but then rain from Ida looks to arrive later on Wednesday into Thursday. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Back to you guys.
Jana, thanks. Tropical storm Ida is on the move, causing dangerous flash flooding conditions in parts of Mississippi and Alabama.
The rain is still falling in some parts of Louisiana where Ida hit as a Category 4 hurricane. At least one person has been confirmed dead, and the death toll is expected to rise as the search and rescue efforts continue today. The debris and standing water is making it difficult for first responders to access those hardest hit areas. President Joe Biden is pleading with the help of more than 5,000 National Guard members across the Gulf Coast.
Our coverage now on Tropical Storm Ida turns to Western Mass News reporter Briseida Landaverde.
She spoke to a local restaurant owner who has close ties to those impacted in Louisiana. She joins us live now with more. Briseida?
Yeah, Chris and Jordan, I spoke to the owner of Cajun on the Go, and he tells me for many years he's traveled back and forth to Louisiana to visit close friends. Today, he's checking in on everyone to making sure they are okay.
I checked in on everyone that I know in Louisiana.
Wayne Hooker is the owner of Cajun on the Go in Springfield. He tells Western Mass News Louisiana has a special place in his heart.
I know what they're going through down there.
On Sunday, Hurricane Ida made landfall in Louisiana 16 years to the day Hurricane Katrina hit in the same area, leaving widespread devastation in its path.
I'm optimistic that they are much, much better off than Katrina.
During that catastrophic 2005 disaster, Hooker says he reached out to the many of his close friends on the Gulf Coast and did what he could to help them out.
When Katrina hit, they couldn't even get to the bank. So I called the local Walmart and just bought like $2,000 worth of gift cards, and they could just pick them up at Walmart and shop.
On Monday, he checked in with those same friends who he considers family through Facebook's crisis response to make sure they are okay.
You can ask them, just checking in, just checking in, just checking in, and then they can check back, I'm doing fine, everything's all right, without making phone calls.
He says the group and their Southern cooking has helped inspire many flavors and dishes at his restaurant.
I'll go down there and they'll take me out to eat somewhere, or say, oh, we got to go here, or just being in the kitchen and somebody's cooking here or somebody's cooking there.
And Hooker says he is waiting to get more details on what resources he can send to his friends in the Gulf Coast. For now, reporting live, Reseda Monteverde for Western Mass News.
Reseda, thanks for that live report and for the very latest on Ida and the impact it could bring to us later this week. Be sure to download the free Western Mass News app, or rather to your mobile or streaming devices today.
Hampton County's main channel for justice remains closed as mold abatement crews continue to address health concerns inside the Roderick Ireland Courthouse in downtown Springfield.
Last Wednesday, that building was shut down after visible mold was found growing on different surfaces. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo live for us tonight in Springfield with an update there. Audrey?
I reached out to the Executive Office of Trial Court in Boston, and they say that the abatement process lasted throughout the weekend and that it actually is continuing into today. Now, I spoke with one attorney who uses the building, and I got an update from the DA just on how this whole slowdown process has taken a toll on the courts.
It's the start of a new week, and the Roderick Ireland Courthouse is still closed. When visible mold shut things down last week, remediation crews were called in, and officials with trial court say their work is ongoing. For a more precise understanding of exactly what is growing, state officials say, quote, an environmental testing company performed testing in the Ireland Courthouse on Wednesday, August 25th. That included air samples and specific areas of suspected mold growth concern. On the Office of the Trial Court website, it says a full report is expected September 1st. For now, matters like restraining orders are going through Chicopee Court, and criminal arraignments are being handled in Westfield. Time-sensitive Superior Court cases are going through Greenfield. But that's not fast enough for defense attorney Jared Olenoff.
I didn't think it was possible for it to be ground to much more of a halt than it already has.
Olenoff tells Western Mass News he's working on more than 100 cases. He claims this mold closure, combined with the COVID-19 pandemic, has resulted in less than swift justice for his cases that are ready for trial.
All we need is a trial date, and we can't get that. They're presumed innocent, and yet they're still held. And multiple requests for release have all been denied.
Meantime, Hampton District Attorney Anthony Gallooni, who evacuated his staff from the building and the nearby juvenile court, says his entire team is adjusting to essentially working under one roof in Tower Square.
What we have set up is not a long-term solution. We do not have the space to house an additional 45 some odd individuals.
He hopes the statewide attention brought to the courthouse's condition will inspire a more long-term solution for the aging building and for his workers.
I'm not going to put them in a situation where I think it's unhealthy or unclean or unsafe.
What's slowing things down further is the fact that the alternate location to impanel jurors, the Eastfield Mall, is also dealing with a mold problem. Officials say they expect that to reopen on Wednesday. Now, in the meantime, if you're a potential juror and you've got a question about an upcoming date, you're encouraged to call 1-800-THE-JURY. Live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
Audrey, thanks for